can honestly say that I was thinking more every single day than I would have if I was just in a regular set of classes.
You're just thrown into everything and you're just experiencing everything, so you just, even if you don't make the connections on the spot, you're gonna make them at some point in your life just because you have that experience you can always go back to.
It's really a great way to see, like, on the ground how the theories or concepts you learn about is actually applied, and instead of talking about potential problems, you actually see where they come up and it makes sense, and it's just more relevant to real life.
The experience and the continuous learning that you do when you're on a field school, you really are immersed in that, and you can't get away from it. You have to talk about it, and you have to hear what other people have to say about it, and it's constantly on your mind when you're with other people who are thinking about the same thing.
I felt like I learned more in that field school than an entire year of university in some respects.
I felt I was a drone before sitting in class. Kind of, yes, he wants me to learn this, I will know this now. And now I sit there and I think a bit more critically.
I think it's really hard when you're reading a textbook to be like, to really engage with the content, but when you're hearing like these stories, and like we really talked about that, the importance of story, it just becomes real, and you wanna learn about it, and you remember things way more.
Sometimes in my classes I'm just thinking, I gotta pass this test, gotta get through this midterm, I gotta just pump out this paper. But in field school it's like, I really do want to learn, and I want to figure out what the issues are, and I want to talk to people about it and figure out ways to make things better.
It turned out to be a lot more giving us tools to think about it, and giving us different perspectives, and kind of letting us choose what we believe from our own point of view. And I feel like that is really kind of what university is about.
Something I found really valuable was getting to be that close with people and make some awesome friends, and people that will probably be in my life forever. And I've gone through 4 years of university so far, and this is the first time I've made good friends from school. And I think it's kind of too bad that I haven't been able to make those great connections, but I don't think the university is set up really for you to make those interactive relationships with your classmates in school.
And it was awesome being with all those people all the time and learning so much from them, as well as learning in the field school. I think I would say most of my learning came from sharing circles and hearing what other people had to say in relation to what I took from it.
I had a lot to share with other people from that field school, and I think a lot of it was just being in those places with a group of people who wanted to learn about sustainability. Whether we talked to the speakers or not, we all were there to like explore and find out more.
I mean, I love the field school, the whole like journey of it. It was like, it ended up being kind of an adventure with 20 cool new people, new friends. We just became a tighter knit group. We were able to talk with each other, bounce ideas off each other, and just enjoy the experience.
And you're with the same people, and you're getting to know each other on an academic level as well as such a personal level.
One of the reasons I really liked being in the group that I was in was there were definitely people that I had differing opinions about issues, and I think that speaks to the multi-perspective learning environment. But even within our own group, there are different perspectives, and sometimes I have a bit of internal struggle being like, oh my god, how can you think that way? But then I realize that's okay. That's sort of like that internal balance of being okay with other opinions and not feeling like there's one right answer.
I get us to learn to ask questions and to think critically, which is definitely was effective, and was to take a step back when you're listening to things and think in, I'm not exactly sure how to say it, like spiritually almost, to be thinking about what you're hearing, not just the facts and the academic side behind it.
I questioned sustainability more than I did before I started. I was kind of like, what is sustainability? And like, is it more than just a buzzword? Like, why is whatever this thing is, why is it sustainable or why is it not?
What is truly sustainable and what are the real goals behind a particular project?
How can we change people's perspectives on the actions that they do every day, their everyday choices? It's almost a psychological thing. You know, how do we change something that's been so ingrained in people for so long?
I think who is this adversely affecting? Because it seems almost like with every single project, no matter how it's framed, it doesn't have to be new urbanism and some giant development. That's, you know, sometimes it's less obvious who you're displacing or who's being adversely affected by changes.
You just have to be open to multi perspectives as well as critically think, but then turning that critical knowledge into practical knowledge.
You know, if I was interested in things that were sustainable before, the questions that I'm asking about to what extent they are sustainable, to what extent they're greenwashing, to what extent they are something that you can implement practically, or to what extent are they valuable just as a theory, those are all questions that I think are a little bit more honed now than before I went to field school.
Like, just challenged us to be critical optimists kind of all the time, and just to not take things for face value, and even though it might be scary, to just kind of have this eyes wide open approach. That's the way he put it, and I think that that's way more difficult than kind of being in that ignorance is bliss kind of phase and taking everything for face value.
Another thing that it did was give me a sense of optimism around both the way that the urgency of things like environmental and social issues that we're dealing with, how the urgency of that is actually kind of an opportunity for experimentation and taking risks and motivating people, as opposed to just seeing it as like a big downer.
And I like the idea of like, how do you affect change and like what matters essentially. That was pretty key for me. Like what brings happiness, what like keeps this enigma alive.
It gave me a lot more hope in terms of people working together, because it's really easy when you have had a few bad experiences with trying to get teamwork with people who are really not on the same page. It's really hard to believe that, hey, this can really work. You know, I've never seen it happen, but I'm sure that it can. So for me, seeing it happen was kind of like a revelation. Like, you guys mean that you are running this program and it worked. Like, the rebuilding center, to me, you know, if you had pitched that idea to me, I'd be like, that's a great idea, and wouldn't it be nice if we could do that? But I don't know if that's feasible. But seeing somebody really pull it off, and pull it off so successfully, was inspiring to me.
After taking that field school, I just saw how there's so many ways to act, and I just don't know how to choose now. That's my new problem.
Sustainability.
That's the ultimate question.
I don't even think the word should be allowed.
There's no real answer, but whenever I have that in other classes, that there's no answer to what we're talking about, it's frustrating because you just want there to be an answer. But then when you actually get on the field school and like are able to look at each specific circumstance and everything that's interacting, you understand why there has to be a variety of things going on in a variety of perspectives, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Before I thought of it more as like this end goal that could be reached. Now I question, like, one, like, can we really attain true sustainability, and also that it's fundamentally more a process.
But I feel like to say you have achieved a sustainability is to say, okay, well, that's it, let's all stop now. Like, I don't think that's where we're going.
Well, with sustainability, it's now sort of a buzzword, and I think businesses like to slap it on their logo to appear that way, but it's really dependent on context, and it can mean so many different things and is framed in certain ways.
So now sustainability to me means more practicality, and it can be the small things that everybody can do, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be a net zero society, but it means that everybody can do better for us all to do better collectively.
For me, it comes down to enough, and what is enough to you, and what do you, like I was saying, what do you need, what do you want, what are you willing to do without for the sake of your own ethics, and what would you maybe be happier without?
So sustainability doesn't really mean all that much to me until I've really dug deep into what and how it's framed.
It really boils down to like just being a good human, good person, and living a truly happy life, and kind of inspiring others with your words and actions, and just trying to make that spread.